Welcome back to this YouTube channel. I'm so excited that you are here. My name is Diamond, and this is the place of growth. Here we grow again. We're getting ready to make it happen, y'all. Thank you so much for your support on my last video about Kendrick Lamar. Y'all, I had to just get that off my chest. But truthfully, I've been in a really cool season. I just have been really thinking about some of the things that I want to do business-wise as an entrepreneur and just diversifying my efforts, right? And I think this is going to be helpful for people that are in the space where you're on the precipice of something great business wise, leadership wise, professionally, but you're trying to make sure that you have the character to maintain and to really think through what it takes to do this. I am like so sold and all in on what I have going on as it pertains to being an entrepreneur, as it pertains to being a business owner, and I'm locked in. And I texted my friend the other day. I'm like, hey, listen, I need to vent for a second. For some reason I feel like I just need to get everything in order because I know like there is something great getting ready to happen when it comes to my business. Like I want to take everything to the next level. And I thought about all the work I'm putting in, the YouTube channel, just being consistent on social media, consistent in my business, taking that to the next level. And it hit me, along with my 9 to 6, 9 to 5, like that consistency piece of just consistently being present, locked in, so that I can build a foundation for a better future. And I think one of the things that I want to talk about today, and I know I want to talk about it, is how to be a better me so that I can create a stronger we. And I say that in a sense, most of the time you hear that is as it pertains to marriage and certain things that people are trying to do relationally, but this is more towards the business side. The information that you need in efforts to make sure that you are able to sustain what God has put in your hands. The first thing I want to talk about when you want to create a better you, so that you can serve wherever you are, so that you can service your business, is strategic isolation. I know that sounds crazy because most of the time we start with strategic partnerships, we start with strategic networking, all those things, but you need strategic isolation. And here's why. You got to schedule at least one off the grid day. A day where you're just like, hey, I need a moment to implement, to really think about meetings, social media, and external obligations. Use this time for deep thinking, strategy, or creative visioning. You want to make sure that you have a moment to do this without distractions. Every quarter, I go away, and whether it's the prayer album, whether it's the strategy for YouTube, whether it's the strategy for my Contending clothing line, my website, all of those different things, I'm going away to really think about the strategy that it's going to take to make that happen. And I need to be in a space where I am completely isolated from everyday endeavors. Now, for a high achiever, for a high impact leader, this is difficult because that could seem like you're slacking off. But this isn't about just slacking off. It's about sharpening your mind so that when you return, you lead and you execute with clarity and precision. It's very difficult to make sane decisions when you're not well for yourself, when you're not taking the time and efforts to make sure that you're good so that you can be good for others, so that you can produce a product that you can be proud of. Can I put a pin there? Oftentimes, we are so quick in our exhaustion to create, to produce, to do things, but it's almost as if you got to stop, gather yourself. First, make sure you're well. Second, make sure you're rested. And then third, make sure that you do that so that you can produce a product that you're proud of. You can be so busy trying to produce that you produce something that you know isn't indicative of your brand, of your brain, of your education, of who you are, all because you wanted to get it out there. Sometimes we even think so comparatively about what we're trying to do. I gotta get it out before the next person, or the market is always going to be saturated with people doing what you're doing. But I promise you, if you rest so that you can properly interpret and internalize what you need to execute, then what you produce will stand out better or more than the ones that are already doing it. So you got to get that rest. Number two, I want you to outsource emotional labor. This is a huge one. The problem is, as leaders, we absorb the stress, the emotions, and challenges of others without realizing that it's draining us. It's almost as if you're a cup and you have holes in it, but you're allowing people to pour and pour and pour and using your water to pour into that cup. Not only are they draining you, but they're using your water and you're paying the bill for it. You're paying the bill for the emotional stress that others are dealing with. You got to hire a therapist, a coach, or join a mastermind group where you can process your own challenges without burdening your team. Hey, every leader has to understand there are moments where you need collective intelligence from those who work around you day to day, but then there are moments where you need to be around minds that have to make decisions on your level, and they can help you to set those emotional boundaries with your team so that you can go and express those emotions with people who have to make decisions on your level. You want to set emotional boundaries. You're not responsible for solving everything. Equip your people, don't carry them. Woo! I just said something there. Equipped your people, don't carry them. In a sense of a baby will never learn how to walk if you carry the baby all day. If you never put the baby down and let them see what it feels like to stretch their legs, to stand on their legs and assist them, you got to equip them with the tools, because guess what? If you're not well, if something happens to you, who runs the ship? Who helps? Who holds it down? You got to have moments in your life where you begin to equip instead of always carrying. Think about CEOs who have executive coaches. They don't just focus on business strategy, but also on the things that it takes for personal resilience. When you have a place to offload your stress, you show up with more emotional stability, which builds trust, consistency in your leadership. The worst thing you could do is continue to carry all of it and you explode, or you begin bleeding on the people that you lead, or on the people that are under you in your business, or your business starts to see the effects of it because you're not even consistent in putting out product, consistent in orders, consistent in the things that it takes, the paperwork, all because you've allowed people to drain you of everything. Can I tell you something? There is something called preventative therapy. Everybody goes to therapy when things are going wrong, but when you're a high level functioning individual, you got to have preventative therapy to prevent burnout, to prevent your mind from going crazy with these things. It is so easy to just sit around and deal with it, deal with it, deal with it, deal with it, deal with it. But at some moment, you have to say, I need to pause. I need to rest. I need to get away, and I need help from an external party. The third thing I want you to think about is ruthless energy management over time management. Here we go. I want to debunk this time myth. Time management is overrated. You don't need more hours, you need more energy. You don't need more hours. You need more energy to be effective in the time frame in which you work. How do you implement this? Track your energy levels throughout the day and week. Identify when you're most naturally productive. I know for me, if I'm up, if I'm going, before I take a nap or before I lay down or before I do whatever I'm going to do, I know that I have to ride the wave of my energy so that I can get things done. Schedule high energy tasks like decision making or deep work during your peak hours, and delegate low energy tasks when you naturally slow down. So if you know that it's a time where you're like, hey, I'm on the decline during this part of the day, those are the moments when you want to delegate. Example, if you're a morning person, schedule your strategic meetings early. If you hit a slump in the afternoon, do admin work instead of forcing deep focus. You know, there are those ancillary tasks that you just have to get out the way. It doesn't take much mental work, But it's just kind of those things like, I don't, I'll get to it later. Maybe save those for moments when you don't have to put in so much mental capacity, but you know that you have to keep pushing during the day. By working with your energy instead of against it, you maximize output while reducing burnout. All right. So here's my conclusion to you. Here's my call to action. Self-care isn't just about a bubble bath or creating space for yourself so you can serve others, but strategic isolation sharpens your vision, and outsourcing those tasks will help you along the way. Which one of these strategies do you need to implement in order to make your life more effective? Here's the thing that I've learned: when you're on the precipice of something great, when you're ready for your next in your business, you got to come to the conclusion that before I go into it, I want to be well enough to maintain it. Before I go into this space of business that I know is going to take me to the next level, I'm thinking about all the things I want to do with my clothing line, with my YouTube channel, with consulting, all of those things. I'm right on the edge of it. But before I jump into it, before I go full throttle, like I know God is getting ready to call me to it, I want to be well enough to make sure that I can maintain and sustain it. Because we don't want you out here doing these business goals and these leadership tactics, and you're consistent, you're up one day, you're down the next day, because you're dealing with the weight of the world on your shoulders. Jesus died so that you don't have to. Jesus died so you don't have to prematurely, because guess what? Jesus died and rose from the grave. You may pass away and there may not be any coming back unless Jesus says otherwise. I say that jokingly, but in all seriousness, I want to make sure that you're well. I want to make sure that everything that you've been called to do, that you'll be able to do it in the spirit of excellence and in the spirit that I know that you can do it in. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. I want you to like, share, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and let me know in the chat what has blessed you, what has helped you. I'm excited to hear about it, and I'm excited about your growth. Here we grow again.